Here we are. Welcome back. Another fabulous Monday, everyone. Tonight, we are going through some homebrew that everybody dropped off with us. So we'll be working through that throughout the evening. Yeah, super chill night. No real, I guess, direction. We're gonna try to get into some style. Yeah, no agenda. This is just gonna be us kind of shooting the shit.
Right.
So outside of that,
had to grab my first one.
All right, we starting with a specific one.
Oh, yeah. So we got homebrew dropped off or picked up or acquired from what, 5 or 6 different members of the Keepers of Craft.
If you include us, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So we came up with this wild idea last night at a club meeting. Just to show how well prepared and
literally like 12 hours ago.
Yeah. And the club came through, though. Brian did some run around today, picked up some beer. And yeah,
thank you, Brian.
You're welcome
for running that around, beer ferrying.
Yeah, I needed to get out of the house.
I understand that for sure.
What are we starting with? And I think as we're doing this too, we should probably talk about I think it's important to mention that we might be doing a little reviewing of these or whatever, but it's probably important to say that we're all homebrewers and these were made by homebrewers, and what I mean by that is that they're made by individuals for individual tastes and stuff like that. So I mean, half the beer that I make doesn't fit any style guideline whatsoever. So it's not going to be so much formal, comparing, apples to apples as it is maybe what, people would do just at a what tastes good competition or something.
I like those.
Right.
Yeah. Which, one known, I think.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Right
oh, no. What are we starting with?
We're starting with the Pilsner. So this is
right.
probably out of the beer that we have tonight. This is probably the lightest on the lineup, I think.
Sweet.
So Pilsner version 3.0, brewed by Bill Blakesley on November 8th. So this is what? This must have been
bottled, yeah.
Bottled November 8th. Okay.
Yeah. Should I have a bottle opener tonight? Don't have to use a screwdriver. Don't have to make myself bleed.
Hey, I've done that. I tried to use a pen, but that failed.
So another thing to point out too, I mean, like Brian said, these are homebrew beers made for homebrew tastes. We are also not BJCP judges. We're not professional beer, judges. We are we are professional beer drinkers.
Yeah,
no, we are professional beer drinkers. We are not professional or certified beer tasters. We just do the best we can and enjoy the beer.
I think that we have something like 8 beers that were donated, so we're gonna at least try to get through half of those, and what we don't, we're gonna get through on other shows. I think we're gonna try to hit at least one from every person that's not us that has homebrew tonight. So we'll see. I don't know. It depends. 8 beers in a show would be about.
It's not like it's not been done before.
I was gonna say that's seltzer night, right?
Seltzer night was a great night.
I was gonna say, I like Jordan's pour on that.
I was gonna say, that's it. Not a lot of beers like the Horn. That's
no, I mean it in a good way. I did a nice gentle pour, and that's probably not a good representation of what Bill's head. What Bill's head looks like.
Oh, no. That's a topic for another show.
It just hit the shit right out of it. Cheers, Bill. Thanks for letting us suck down your head.
Yeah.
So first impressions are not. I want to describe the flavor as skunky, because it's not. It's sort of that dark, danky bitterness a little bit.
I was gonna say I get You get a little dank out of it, but
It reminds me of Pilsner, though. I mean, it's Pilsners
does.
have that.
gorgeous color. Like,
Yeah.
So it is a German Pilsner, and I think this is version 3, like you said, that he's made of it. But yeah, it has very much like a mixed, almost like American lager taste to it too. You know, like
Yeah. It's very clean though. There's no fruitiness, no no off flavors. I think I get the crispiness of the hops and kind of the malty crackery characteristics. It's crisp. It's good.
yeah, it is. It is very good.
I know it's going to be one of those beers that I'm glad we started with because it's going to be gone pretty quick. I think that's probably one thing that I really you mentioned malt flavors and stuff like that. That's one thing that I really suck at as far as whenever I talk about beer and like describing people's beer to them, like there's always like one flavor that sticks out, and I tend to like hyper focus on it. Like in this beer, it's, the little bit of like the bitterness or whatever the hops are doing to it.
I was gonna say that was one thing I would say with it is that maybe it's a touch bitter, more bitter than what I'm used to with Pilsners, but I like it. It's not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'd be interested. I don't know if he's on or watching, but I'd be interested to know what type of hops he uses.
Yeah, there's just trying to run through what if we were BJCP.
Oh, is this a harvest IP? Is that what he says? Is that what this is? Oh, maybe that's what it was. Oh, yeah, we did have this fucking conversation on Saturday. Yeah, this is from his hops on his on the side of his house.
Is it?
Oh, I guess that.
I mean, so it's got a great aroma, really clean. Like for a if this was a Pilsner, I'm not getting any of like the creamed corn or.
Well, and so I think
strawy.
Having forgot that, I think at least we called it pretty well. Like the bitterness is what for sure I would call like an IPL, and
yep,
the crispness.
It's definitely.
I forget what.
That's very good.
I forget what. Oh yeah, because you know what? He came over to my house to grab like 6 pounds of malt to make this beer.
You got your own malt shop downstairs now?
I'm like not even a beer in, and I'm already like forgetting all the details on like all this shit. I want to say, God, I don't know if it was this beer or the beer before it too. He used a mix of Harvest and Global to make it.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's this one or not, Patrick. I know he dropped the beer off. There we go, German Pilsner and not Harvest. Tettnanger.
It is Tettnanger.
Oh,
it is the German Pilsner and not the Harvest. God damn. Okay. So.
Yay.
Starting right off good.
Yeah.
Next time we do this, and for homebrewers that watch or people that would pick this up in the future, we want to do more of these. We want to actually, I'd love to do like either every episode we could do somebody's homebrew review. Maybe even do like a segment. But we need to get more details on the beer. Like
that was like I said, this week. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We picked this up, not even 12 hours ago and ran with it. And, but yeah, so now that we've got Bill German chiming in, it is a German Pilsner Tettnanger hops. He says about 40 IBUs.
And it is the mixed yeast.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No pre-gaming tonight, Ron. Not yet. I specifically knew that we had 8 beers that we were potentially going to get through, and I'm like, not even a beer with dinner tonight.
I was like, man, I usually have one with dinner. When I get home, I'm just putzing around the kitchen or whatever, and I was like, no, not tonight.
So I mean, just going down the things, knocking it out. It smells amazing. Good straw, hay. Hot presence. It looks beautiful. It's crystal clear, nice, super awesome color, and tastes exactly like a German lager. I think really should taste, or an American version of a German lager, maybe. Bill won the Bell's Homebrew competition in 2019. There wasn't one in 2020, and this shows that this is another. The dude knows how to brew. It's good beer.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something I need to get more on the bandwagon for is brewing Pilsners. I haven't actually done one, unfortunately.
I think that so it's getting easier and easier to brew them, or at least brew like pseudo lagers. Like we had a last night for our own homebrew club meeting. We had is it the president of Omega East? Is that his title there? Lance,
I know he's
co-founder at least.
co-founder,
owner, I think is his
owner.
title. Hold on.
Yeah. But
yeah, his official title is listed as owner of Omega East.
Yeah,
Lance Shaner.
Great dude. But he he had a nice little presentation on pseudo lagers, and I think one of the coolest things that excuse me, I got out of that presentation was that a lot of the yeasts that are coming out that they're producing, can produce lager like flavors. Like if you taste this, some of that kind of American lager thing that I get out of it is probably in the aroma. It's just like maybe the slightest bit of like sulfur or something, which that's how I identify a lager. But these clean Kvike yeast like Lutra, Oslo, Arset, they can be fermented anyway and produce really clean flavors. Really no off flavors at like super high temperatures. You don't have to temp control it anymore. And it used to be, even like 5 years ago, if you want to make a lager, you need a freezer to stick your shit in,
Right.
And like keep it, in the 50s or whatever. And I don't think that's necessarily so much the case anymore. I don't know how well they would do in competitions. I made a pseudo lager with Oslo a couple years ago, and I think it got like a respectable 32 or something like that. But the notes definitely said that like it felt fuller, like it had a more full mouthfeel. It was missing like a sharpness, and part of that might be because these Kvike yeasts like lower the final pH a little bit. And so, Lance had a little bit of a presentation on potentially adjusting pH, to have it land a little bit higher once it's done. And I think that some of these yeasts, I read somewhere, I don't know if this is founded at all, but that a lot of these Kvike yeasts, especially at like higher temperatures, tend to produce more, is it glycerol?
So
is that the word I'm looking for? Is that what yeast produces? There's like glycerol, glycerin, glycol, but which tends to add to body as well. So like it's the flavor's clean. Like if you were to brew like this with like a brew one recipe with Harvest and put it right next to a recipe with Arset or something like that, and ferment them, both the same at maybe their appropriate temperatures, mid 50s, and then maybe like 80s or 90s or something like that. Like I think that the difference would be substantially noticeable. I wonder if there's even like a brew philosophy thing that they do. Yeah, thanks. But I
Need
don't
a
know.
soundboard next time.
It's hard to explain tastes sometimes. But I definitely encourage anybody to play with those yeasts because.
Yeah, I'm really eager to get one in, and in fact, I know some of us got some entries on a competition that's coming up in Texas in January, and I may even switch and roll because I did a pseudo lager pilsner with Lutra, one of Omega's yeasts, a few weeks ago, and unfortunately I had an accident. I lost most of that keg, but I want to kind of rebrew it, and I might get one in and get it in competition just to see what kind of feedback I get, because I see what you, or I agree with you with like the mouthfeel and it's I think depending on the temperature and maybe like you said the pH, you're going to get a little bit more of that ale-y feel than that lagery crispness. And I'm curious to see how some of these pseudo lager or pseudo pilsner type yeasts that they're coming out with are going to stand out.
Yeah, but I did one a while ago. I guess then I should say I've never done a traditional lager. I brewed one beer with Oslo. Brian, I think I got a vial from you a while back. I still have a bunch of it. I stepped it up and propagated it. So I want to try it again, but there was just something a little off about that beer. So I want to do something that was it was a busy beer though. So I want to do something that's a little more simple, straight ahead.
And like Lance was talking about last night too, they're definitely more nutrient hungry
Yeah.
than a normal yeast. So there's a little bit extra care that you have to do there, and because of that, a little bit, I think sometimes they're maybe just not as consistent from batch to batch too. Like I spent all of 2018, 19. What year is it? I think it was all 2019. Fucking with different like strains and stuff like that, and I made some good beers. Like I think I took second in that like competition down in Indiana that we did, with like a IPA. But like some I made some, amazingly nail polishy beer as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
which I think you guys got the fine fortune of tasting.
It wasn't. Yeah, I do remember the nail polish beer, but it wasn't just that, man. I mean, they're all the breweries. Like in 2019, like for a while, it seemed like everybody, as soon as Vite came out, everybody was jumping on it, and there were some just horrendously bad examples of it. Made by the big guys too.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's, people here that you can have such a wide range of fermentation temperature, and then there's, like Lance said last night, the rumors of, pitching it, under pitching it versus, over pitching, or that you're supposed to under pitch it. And just people were doing just really crazy shit with it. And, churning out some pretty off the wall beers. But I don't know. I watched this presentation last night. I still think, if you treat it just like you would any other yeast, even though just because it can do 107 degrees, with 1 million, cell per liter pitch rate or whatever, doesn't mean you should. But hey, we can find out more about that. We keep talking about Omega and Lance and everything. I should just say, he has agreed to come on the show. We haven't nailed the date down with him, but we will have Omega Yeast on.
I didn't realize I was repping on it.
Yeah, Ryan's repping. So we'll actually have Lance on sometime in the near future, and learn a lot more about Omega Yeast and yeast in general, and that will be. I mean, the presentation he did last night for the club was awesome, so I can't wait to just kind of go off topic and talk to the guy.
Yeah, it'll be a big knowledge drop for sure.
We have to do all the science intros for you.
Yeah. That was one thing I took away, is that that presentation that they gave us was super technical.
It's great.
It was amazing. They get really into it, and that's awesome.
One thing I want to try that I really haven't seen any data on, or experiments, or anybody do anything with, is like so the Kvike yeast strains that they were testing were shown to be not just like really heat resistant, but like they could do well in like colder temperatures too. He called it stress resistant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think all the yeast for sure, they had Hothead, Hornindal, and Voss that they listed, and I think all of those could still perform at like lager temperatures. In this with the same way that like all the normal lager yeast that we used to. So interested to see maybe someday what a cold fermented, like
right,
Hornindal
IPA would taste like, or something like that. I don't know.
I do have a question for you, Brian, because I wonder if you keyed into it. But are you going to start a Kvike log hanging up in your basement?
I'm probably not. So the only reason that I'm not is because a lot of you guys know I run a rabbit rescue.
Yeah.
Just add to it, man.
Granted, these things are hanging out in barns or whatever, out in Norway or something. But no, they keep them submerged in beer, don't they? I think.
No, I think
they hang them and dry them.
The ring, they it's submerged in beer when they're fermenting, and then when they're done, they take it back out and hang it up. And then the yeast dries on it. So
it does, but I feel like I watched a video where like some people store it like in beer too, and it might not. It's probably a different thing.
The picture we had last night was definitely dry and crusty.
Yeah. I guess we should get. I don't know how many people are watching this that didn't watch it last night. We should catch them up. So in Norway, they keep these logs. It showed like a wreath basically made out of wood. Yeah, Kvike ring. That they use to capture their yeast, and they have it hung up. When they're ready to pitch, they drop the whole log inside their beer, let it do its thing, and then pull it back
It's
out.
done. They pull it back out and hang it up.
Yep.
I also found it was interesting, and I didn't know this last night, and I was laughing at it. It was Vike is Norwegian for yeast, so saying Vike yeast is yeast, like saying koala bear, right?
Yeah. And it's not a style of beer. You don't have a Kvike beer. You have a
yeah. So saying that you have a Kvike lager is a yeast lager.
And I think
whatever.
One thing too that people started saying too when this is now a Kvike show, but
right,
episode. Yeah.
I don't have a topic to really stay on.
It's my personal opinion, and I think that a lot of this was shared in the homebrew community back when these yeasts started becoming popular and widespread. That it's when you use the strain, like make sure to use the family that it came from too, because these families shared these yeast with the world basically, and it's just like it's good common it's respectful, I guess. To say I'm using Voskvike, or I'm using Hornendal Kvike or Oslo Kvike.
Yeah, well, except for Lutra Kvike, because Omega just made that up. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Oslo's capital or whatever, but
one thing to ask though, I don't know, Bill, since we did just go down this whole Vike rabbit hole, was this even made with a Vike? Is it? Maybe we just went completely off fucking topic.
This is Harvest, or this is the Harvest and Global.
Harvest and Global. Yeah, no, that was me. That was me going off saying I've never really done a lager, and then Brian going down the rabbit hole of
my bad.
It's becoming a lot easier. No, it's great. It's all good information.
All right. Well, my glass is almost empty, so who's on deck?
I say so. Final impressions on the beer. Look was amazing. Crystal clear. Yep. Color was beautiful. Smell, the aroma. Right. They had like a effervescence to it. Slight, hoppiness. The hops were more present than like malt for me on the aroma, but it's a German Pilsner. I think that's probably appropriate, I guess. Mouthfeel, it was carbonated perfectly.
Great head.
Head, especially when poured in a horn. So if you want to, Bill, when you need to impress your guests now, color of the head was beautiful. It was like pearly white. Overall, just a really nice beer, Bill, that would absolutely medal in any competition you sent it to. I think.
Hands down, one of my favorite things that used to be on the older version, I think, of the BJCP score sheets was, or at least when I first started brewing and I was getting my sheets back, they'd say, would you drink it again? Would you buy a pint, or would you buy a 6-pack? And I would absolutely go out and buy a 6-pack.
Oh yeah, easily,
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So, real quick, hey Deb, Tag a Brew on. Just calling out, shout out. Thanks for watching.
I have a rabbit in my office. One moment, please. Stand by.
We need to have a tag down there that says "rabbit on the loose."
Yeah. Oh, and David got a growler. You know what? I got. We'll fill in until Brian gets back, because I think he had the next beer that he wanted to go into. But right in the beginning, or relatively early in COVID, we were doing like beer exchanges in the club, and I remember, like Bill came over and I had like sanitized some beer and put on my porch, and Bill left some, his beer and took some of my beer, and I got a growler of this, and it was, I think version 1 or 2, and it was amazing back then, and he just keeps iterating on it, and it's just getting better and better. So
I've returned.
Hey,
the rabbit has been evacuated. Yeah. It was avocado toast. I left the door open. She worked her way in and was pulling up carpet in the side of my room.
So where are we going next?
Yeah.
Is Patrick on? Has he commented?
Yeah. He's on there.
We were waiting for a sec because we didn't want to do Patrick's beer before he got onto the stream. So now that he's here,
that's the PY.
That's the PY.
All right.
So this one, what is this one?
I believe it's an Irish stout. Gosh, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I know I talked to you, and then I'm already one beer in, and that's how I roll. But
But I don't remember. And Patrick can comment if it has any special adjuncts. If it's just a straight Irish stout.
I know at one point there was a discussion about a beer that he was brewing. Yeah, cold steeped, all the dark grains. Cool.
Yeah, so I couldn't remember if this one has got pumpkin or if this wasn't the pumpkin pecan maple one. Right. Hold on. No. Okay.
So I feel like this hits particularly close to home as we have a lot of Irish stout champions in the Michigan Brews crew.
There's a few of them on screen here.
Oh. Right on. It's my favorite category to brew. It's probably my longest running consistently meddling category, barring a few hiccups along the road. But
my first impression is that the aroma is amazing. It smells like malty, dark malts, chocolate. I don't get a whole bunch of like coffee or anything. That's not super appropriate in Irish stouts, really. Like Irish Extra is supposed to maybe have like a little bit of vanilla to it, maybe a little coffee.
But it's got that nose, that Irish nose, and I kind of call it like it's almost a little green. And I get this off my coffee stout all the time.
Yeah.
I always get that like green, grassy, notes to it, and it has that. It's an Irish stout, or definitely the Irish yeast, which he says he used. So yeah.
4.5%. I don't know if that fits the category. That might be a touch, or it might be just scooting on the outside of appropriate. But
I mean, it's just on the bottom side.
It's fine. Like when you enter a beer into a competition, you're not listing the ABV. I can't personally tell the difference between a 4.5% beer and a 6.5% beer.
Well, not immediately.
Maybe 4.
I was going to say it's technically right at the low end.
Cool. Okay.
Right at the low end of that band. But that's fine. Yeah.
Color is beautiful. It's jet black as far as I can tell. My lighting here isn't the best, but.
Yep.
But I think it fits the category, and it's. I don't taste like I smell. I smell what Jason was getting at, but I don't taste any of that green apple. That's something that I'm quite susceptible to. I pick up on.
You are, and it doesn't smell like it just smells like sweet grain to me a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't. I want to say it wasn't green apple. The smell is just a green, like a grassy,
like a fresh,
a fresh. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, no, not the green apple. The green apple you pick up off of like some oxidation or whatever. I didn't mean that. It's not in a negative way. It's what it reminds me of when I smell it. It's green, grassy, hay, fieldy kind of thing. It's my first impression is, and I see you said he watered it down. It is a little thin. It doesn't have the kind of body to go or hold up like I would expect it to be.
I could follow that. I enjoy it. I will say that I enjoy the body on it, but I can see where category wise it might be a little thin.
Carbonation is good.
It is. I was just gonna say it's so I usually like my beer a little bit over carbonated even. But for me, like for this particular beer and the way that it tastes and everything like that, it's almost creamy. Like it reminds me of drinking cold brew coffee in its consistency a little bit. With carbonation still, but like in the best possible way.
Yep, I've had that. I like my beers a little undercarbed to the point to where I've entered in beers in competitions and they're like, it's good beer, but a little low on the carb. I'm like, but that's just me personally.
Nitpicking, I think, and just I almost lost it, Brian. Nitpicking a little bit slightly, and it's based off a lot of the feedback that I've gotten over the years in Irish. I feel like the hop bitter is a little bit high. I don't know what the IBUs were, but the thing that I've gotten almost, and I can show you sometime, Patrick, I've got 40 score sheets on Irish stouts, and they always talk about balancing the hot bitter to the malt bitter. And I think you're cold steeping, so you have almost no malt bitter, which is awesome. And I've actually done a lot over the years to try to reduce the malt bitter, but I almost think you have a little too much hops in here. I'm getting that hop mouthfeel. Almost
they're
like
lingering a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's really good. I just would say, like I said, nitpicking. Try to maybe scale back a quarter ounce on your bittering hops or something. That's good.
The smell that you mentioned, the aroma, I can sort of taste that a little bit after I burp. And again, it's not any sort of off flavor or anything like that. It's just that sort of it's that sweetness. For me, anytime that I taste something that's I don't know. I have this weird thing about lingering aftertaste and stuff, especially when I burp. Oberon this year, just out of cans, had a really awful taste for me when I burped. It was fine out of bottles, fine off draft, and some of their other IPAs, like their Kvike IPAs, it's almost like a yeastiness or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what this is on this beer. I think it might just be the bitterness, and it's not overwhelmingly again, yeah, it's nitpicking. It's this is an above average beer that.
Well, he even said this time they went a quarter ounce more on their Magnum at 60,
okay.
and than they did last time. So I think that's what it is. I think just a little bit too much on the hop bitterness, and it's just a. I don't think it would really affect the score. I just think it would be a comment that you would see on your score sheet. If we look, I'm trying to keep the score sheet up in my other screen here, so that flavor, I can see that, and the overall impression is probably where I'd see that comment is that the hop bitterness kind of takes center stage, and it doesn't really balance well with the malt bitterness, because as a stout, that's what they want to see is on the Irish stout category anyway, is a balance of that malt and hop. One of the things when I was brewing these, and where I got my ass handed to me all the time was the malt bitter. I was the other way. So I do, I think, 1 ounce of EKG as my bittering hop. So I'm using it very low. But I used to use, I started using Black Patent or Black Prince malts, which are, more on the bitter charcoal dark range. And then, over the years, and then talking with David Jones, learned about Carafa 3 and the debittered dehusk grains. And that really that's when I think I started seeing my scores go really, really high, is when I started to pull back on the malt bitter. So here, I think, and like David, I think just agreed in the chat, 1 ounce of Magnum, a little bit high, a little bit too much of the malt bitter.
Especially at 60.
Yeah, overall, it's a good version. Good take on an Irish stout. And going back to what you said, Brian, I think that smell that I get it off of anything that uses Irish yeast. It's just that I know when it's an Irish stout because it has that smell.
Just out of curiosity, I went back to look at my. So I brewed an Irish stout for my buddy's birthday sometime last year on the request of his sister, and I wanted to see what hops I was using and what yeast I was using. And funny enough, so for hops, I ended up using Northern Brewer, 1 ounce of that at 60, which is only a 8.5% alpha. But I used Kaiser yeast, which is it's like a German
German
ale yeast, yeah. And I'm trying to think back on my my thought process for that, and I think it ended up being, and maybe for the same reason that Patrick is using clean bitter and hops and stuff like that. It's very clean tasting yeast. It just takes a long ass time for it to fall out of suspension. I remember this beer still pouring a little weird out of the keg after cold crashing for a week. But yeah.
So Drew, Black Prince is debittered as well. So Drew commented on my statement. So you have Black Patent, which is not debittered, it's not dehusked, Black Prince is debittered, but I think it is roasted longer. It is a more bitter malt, at least from what I know, than Carafas in the specials. Carafa specials, I think, maybe even come in a little bit lower. You get a little bit less of that charcoal bitterness. So that was my journey through Colombian grind was Black Patent, Black Prince, still too bitter, then into the Carafas, and it's smoothed it out a lot. So that's my tip. Anybody that wants to brew Irish stout, look at Carafa 3, and I got that from David.
And then, the
Although
other
cold
ingredient in
steeping.
Irish beer, roasted barley, right?
Roasted barley. Depending on which way you're going with it, Irish stout should have dark chocolate characteristics or coffee characteristics. I actually I add coffee to mine, and I don't indicate it on the recipe sheets to the judge.
Horrible, terrible person.
All the medals. But that's because I'm and it's funny because they're telling me like, oh, a nice coffee balance. I'm like, shit, no, there's a cup and a half of coffee in that glass. But yeah, I don't know where I was going on that. Patrick, it's a good take on it. Good beer.
Yeah.
Overall impression, I think it's fine to style. That would just be my nitpicking. Would be dial back the hops a little bit. maybe add a little bit more malt just to get the body up. Maybe look at adding some small amounts of adjunct malts that can add to body. Like, help me, Brian.
Oats?
Oats, yeah, some flaked oats. I do put flaked oats in mine. Maybe
really?
even, yeah, I do. Flake barley.
I use chocolate rye in mine. Rye
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank because I'm already, this shit's hitting me good. So, but that's what I would say. Maybe
4.5% bullshit.
Add a couple pounds of some adjuncts to bring in the body, and then dial back the hops a little bit. But you guys got it going on. I think the cold steeping that you're doing is just the ticket. I like it.
I want more carbonation, but that's me. That's how I serve all my beers. I like them burn my tongue a little bit. I know it's not appropriate. I know you'll fight me on it.
Yeah, I'll say carbonation was great, Patrick. I'm enjoying this. But yeah, again, that's unless you're going specifically to style, as we said in the beginning of the show, this is homebrew brewed to to a home brewer's taste. Yeah. So you make the beer that you want. That's that's what it is.
So color was good.
And Brian's are all sparkling.
I know.
Yeah.
Foam color is good. You can always tell there's roasted. This is my guess, Patrick. I hope there's roasted barley in here. I always say that I can tell there's roasted barley in a stout when the foam is like a more of a tannish color.
Yep.
That's a signal for me. But yeah, I think that's appropriate. It smells great. It has, maybe that it's the hop thing. Tastes fine. I want more carbonation. Everybody else says it's fine. Overall, just solid beer.
It is very good. Yeah,
really easy. That's really drinkable too. Like talking, that whole time and having the beer be gone. Like it's always a sign to me when I like something because I'll keep drinking it and not really think about it. It means it's not too sweet. It means it's just like,
yeah.
When I go to a restaurant or something, that's what I want to. That's what you want to make because you want to make sure that people are drinking, more beer, pretty much. And yeah, it's gone.
I'd actually like to, you talk about the carbonation. I'd like to throw this on nitro and get that, kind of creaminess with it. It'll be good. If we do, if you bring this to homebrew next year, get with McQuillan and do a nitro keg of it. Thanks, good.
We'll have to have Jordan chug his beer. Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, I know you guys like.
Keep
I'm such an amateur.
It's easier when you don't drink out of a horn. Don't spill on your keyboard.
No, that's true because if I put this down too fast, it splashes me in the face.
So I know.
We got a beer from Jeff. We got a beer from.
I know from Brandon. We've got an IP. We've got an IPA. we've got a Galaxy IPA, and we've got a fruited stout. Excuse me.
Yes.
And then from Jeff, we got a double triple IPA. Right?
And the vanilla.
And the vanilla bitter. Right.
Which I think we might save because he sounded pretty intent on having us try to blend that.
Yeah.
So we can try it on its own and then maybe like get some. He suggested Bud Light, honestly, for a blend, but we can maybe get some other suggestions.
That's right, fruited porter. And I haven't seen Jeff comment yet, so we'll save Jeff. So I guess let's move into Brandon's IPA.
Okay.
All right.
So Brandon's a newer brewer, a newer member of our club. Probably one of the newer ones that we have, I think.
Speaking of Bud Light.
Bud Light, yeah.
Brandon, I loved your pictures.
Making amazing beers.
I love seeing your rig like that. Your hood's amazing.
I saw that on Facebook, and that was something I should have commented because I just saw it in passing. But yeah, that looked like an interesting downstairs basement apparatus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was telling Amy about it. I'm like, oh yeah, Brandon, got his wife to brew with him for how to brew day or learn how to brew day. And Amy's like, well, I would do that with you. She's like, I'd want to pick my own recipe. I'm like, well, he let his wife, pick the recipe too. So
I believe it's why they did pumpkin, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'm going to do that. So thank you, Brandon, for sharing those pictures and that story. All right, I got to finish this up.
I'm going to pull up the descriptions of these hops because I'm not familiar enough with either of them. I'm assuming it's Galaxy and Enigma. It's called Galactic Enigma. I'm familiar enough with Galaxy, I guess. So.
Yeah, I don't know much about Enigma. Outside of, isn't that what they use to debunk the Nazi codes or whatever?
Maybe.
Some sort of machine.
I do feel like, though, that, yeah, you're right, the Enigma machine.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need to go, bury this in my trash can so my neighbors don't see a fucking Bud Light bottle in my
Wear it proudly.
God damn it.
So they share a lot of common descriptors. In terms of on a 1 to 5 scale, they both are in the 3 to 4 range for citrus, mid range for tropical fruitiness, and mid range maybe a little low for floral. Is kind of where they're hanging out at, but mostly citrus. We got a lot of tropical fruit descriptors. Pineapple and peach for Galaxy, berry, stone fruit, raspberry for Enigma. Even some white wine like Nelson. So
that came right to mind when I first smelled it. It was some kind of winey.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really trying hard. I want to take a drink of it and then just spit it out and start gagging and choking. Brandon, I'm just just be like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh, you guys got Bud Light ones. Okay. I was trying to figure out where you had that. No, yeah. I got the double two-hearted. So
yeah, no, that's why I held up Bud Light. He says I literally dumped out. Oh, my mouse isn't working, but dumped out 2 bottles of Bud Light to fill these. So, do you just keep Bud Light around so you have emergency bottles? Is that what
I? And then what are you asking, David? Enigma. That's a hop. New Zealand rather than Oz. Oh. Take it up in chat.
So I just covered up my glass, doing some pass bys or whatever. My very first big whiff, what came to mind was berries. I got a lot of berry at first. It's gone now, and it's more of that citrus floral thing. But I had a big old berry blast in my face for a second.
I get that first smell after I poured it. I got that grape leaf kind of quality that I get sometimes from Nelson.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Nelson reminds me a bit of that.
And
It's one of
did
my
he say
favorite
this?
hops.
It is New Zealand hops, right? Or are these Aussie hops?
Where's Enigma from? Shit, I don't know.
Fuck, I don't know. All right, whatever.
Yeah, from Australia. They're
Yeah,
both
he's
Australian.
saying they're Aussie Enigma.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some New Zealand hops that start with E, but
So I get melon, like maybe stone fruit, melon, almost like a honeydew.
I can see a little stone fruit. I'm not getting melon.
On this one, I'm gonna have to, before Brian can jump in on it.
yeah,
I need more carbonation, right?
yeah, that's my first thing. Again, I just like my stuff with a lot of bubbles, and this there's a lot of breweries in town. I feel like that serve their beer, serve really great, amazing beer, but it's just a little too low of a carbonation for me, and it makes me just want to like leave it sit there. Like it's hard for me to like. I just don't want to pick it back up and like chug it down again. This I do. It's delicious.
This has a great taste.
Like I mean, we all do. We all fucking love IPAs, but it's so hard to pick one up and describe it because there's like an unlimited number of like hop combinations you can do, and every single beer just has some like unique and interesting qualities to it. And my palate's not trained good enough to like pick those out.
So he's saying a bottling issue.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand, Brandon. It's not like we didn't give you plenty of fucking notice to get this shit. Jesus Christ, man. So the cap says Galactic Enigma IPA -BE. I'm not sure what the
BE, maybe Brandon Edwards.
Oh, it is BE. Oh, Brandon Edwards. Yeah.
At least maybe he can prove me wrong, but that's what I took it as.
You're smart. Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
If I take a big ass glug of the beer, like not just like, pussyfoot sip it, like it has, I get those wine characteristics for sure. Like I get it like the back of my throat. Like when Brandon shit, hits me in the back of my throat, man, it's just, you can feel it.
Again, topic for another show. I get a lot of wine out of this. Like it's like, which it reminds me a lot of like Nelson.
Going through my banners and shit, I have all these banners for Brian. I have like a fuck you, Brian. Broke shit, Brian. For some reason, I have a banner that said, "Did he just say horse penis?" But I don't have anything for you, Jordan. I don't.
I'm just
fuck. Whatever. I get the whiny too. I get I do. I get the New Zealandy, Nelson-y, even though this isn't a New Zealand. I don't know. I get that. But yeah.
Burp, I get it too.
Yeah.
It's almost like a I hate saying this, but when I burp, it's almost like a fruited Smirnoff sort of taste to me. I know it's like a weird thing to say, but it has like this like carbonated alcoholic fruit drink thing going on. And it's like, it's good. Like it's not a bad thing. It's just like, it's the combination of the carbonation and like, I still get a lot of berry too, like on my first sniff.
I don't know if this is just like me and my palate, but it tastes, it's kind of sweet, at least to me. But then again, I'm a dry beer kind of guy, but
it definitely has some latent sweetness. I don't know what the final gravity was.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's a 18 or 20 or in the higher range, but
no, I'd absolutely wager in the 20s. I'd be interested to see.
I think it needs, yeah, Brandon. If it wasn't a bottling issue, I would go back down and jack up the CO2 on the keg.
Do I really, Patrick? I try to mute myself, man. Oh, are you
He's
talking
talking
about
about how
when
many. Brian judges his beers off of how he burps. That's
I
why he likes the
do.
carbonation.
Honestly, in almost every discussion that we have with you about how a beer tastes, you always go to how the burp tastes. Like
I'm gonna start calling you Rick.
But what's funny is right now I'm burping like a motherfucker. So you said it, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh man,
My cheeks are not just the alcohol. Call me
I'm gonna
out.
say you can definitely see it on me. I'm getting rosy. I also don't have like any airflow in this, troglodyte cave of mine, so that might be part of it. Wait, did you get one of those weird lights too, Brian?
No, I literally have a so it's from Jackson Lamp Company. It's just like a desk lamp, but it's amazing. It's nice. It has like a one of those pads where you can put your phone to charge and shit on it, and
neat.
you can adjust like the hue and the brightness and everything. So it can go to cool white to soft white. I need to get a ring light though. I need to.
Yeah, that's gonna be on my list. It's not gonna be. It is on my list.
You guys look brighter, but you guys have bright backgrounds. I have a dark background that I'm against. So
that's true.
Yeah, I also have right now 3 monitors, and most of them have white screens on them. So there's a lot.
You don't have a fan going down there or anything?
No, I should. There's not even like all the ducting goes right above me, but there's no exit. Like who does this? Why is it built this way? But yeah, there's no. I should have a fan. I have a heating fan for when it gets 50 degrees in my basement during the winter, but that's not going to help me right now.
So Brandon wants us to drink his porter.
We're only 50 minutes in, so maybe we can bust through Jeff's and get into the porter or something. We'll see.
Is Jeff? If you're here, let us know. And
or maybe we say both is until he can be on, and
maybe
go right into the porter. I don't know.
Maybe. If Jeff's not here, I think we go in the porter. But.
It was kind of controversial. Some people I talked to liked it, and some people didn't. But BCBS Bramble 2 years ago, the Bourbon County Stout Bramble. It was like Bourbon County with bramble-y berries. I had like raspberries and some other shit in it, but I thought it was excellent. I really liked it. So, and I've never really had another fruited porter or stout or anything like that since. So, yeah, I'm totally all about busting into that. How many pounds of fruit? Well, we can go into that when we get into the beer, but
yeah, I mean, give your final takedown on this. I think.
Look,
color, great, perfect.
I could go for more clarity, but
coming from the New England guy,
if it's, I'm not so much of a
you're
a whatever anymore. Yeah, if I have to be picky about it. So here's what I like. When beers are a little bit less carbonated, my IPAs are a little bit less carbonated, I can go for them being a little bit more hazy. For some reason, it just makes sense in my head to work out that way. But when they're clear, I want them to be crisp. So maybe this is more appropriate just for the carbonation in my mind.
I guess, yeah, no, I'm just giving you shit.
The aroma is amazing. Again, I got a big ass blast of berry when I first. It has like, yeah, I get the white wine.
I haven't looked. How many of these things have you made? There's been a few shows I haven't been on. I kind of want to know.
A couple dozen. Yeah.
Very,
I have some that I don't remember why I made them. We got Broke Shit Brian. I really don't.
I don't even know what the fuck is that.
What the fuck that one came from. This one I feel like we should just leave up all the time. Just
yeah. That's fair.
Where are we?
But yeah. Oh, Jeff is
here.
Hey.
All right, we can rip into Jeff's. We've done 5 beers in a night before.
That's, yeah. I that's how I feel, Jason.
Yeah.
So this is one of the episode styles that we should probably do in person when COVID is not so much of a concern anymore. So we can all split a bottle.
Yes.
Go through, get a bottle of beer or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when we can get back together, I can't wait till we can do that safely, because I'd love to do like a cellar raid. I know we've talked about this before. I've got some shit in the basement that's 8 and 10 years old. And,
I was like, we were going to do a mystery beer episode.
Mystery beer,
day. Yeah. I've got plenty of those.
I'm currently aging like 2 bottles of Blizzard of Kaz. I'd love to open up and have somebody else drink.
We have special guest Kaylee on for that again too. I believe
she's a fan of that beer, right?
I believe so, if I remember right.
When Founders started their barrel age series that year, I like saved everything, so I've got like Fruitwood and Dick Kicker and Lizard of Kaz. You didn't have Dick Kicker malt liquor?
What is? Oh yeah, DKML. Yeah,
DKML.
Yeah, I really liked that.
Oh,
beer. I really liked that beer.
So I have all that shit. That's like it's going on 3 or 4 years old now.
Brandon, I might have a THC beer from one of our club members downstairs.
No,
that's one we need to do on air,
but I don't know which one it is. Oh, Lizard of Kaz, Kaylee. Oh yeah,
Kaz. I was just telling these guys last night. I've got a couple of THC beers in my public beer fridge downstairs. I have multiple beer fridges because I have a problem.
Did you just say you have a public beer fridge on air?
I do.
I'm gonna throw your address up there so people can come down.
The garage door's open. You can feel free to come in and get whatever you want. It's a fully stocked, ridiculously stocked beer fridge. I was telling these guys, I got a couple of THC beers from a buddy. They weren't marked. I threw them in there. I forgot which ones they were. They're in there. So somebody's going to pull a beer out one of these days and be like, "What's this mystery beer? Cool," and then get fucked. So
we'll play beer roulette one of these days. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That sounds. Yeah, that'd be a show. Game show night. That's.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you know, I'm not throwing my address up, but if you know where I live, generally always open. Help yourself. I used to have a sign on it that literally, because there's 2 beer fridges in the garage. There's the public one, and then there's the one that you don't touch. And the public one literally had a sign on it that said, "Take what you want. I don't give a shit." And the other one said, "Please come see me before you touch anything." It was a nice, it was a nice message, but it was basically, don't touch it.
Any other final impressions? It is a little sweet again. I think if it had all the bubbles I wanted, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I've had some Hot Butcher beers this week that were probably 1030. So right. I'm not one to judge sweetness or anything like that.
No, I don't think the sweetness is off-putting. I think this is strictly. I think hop balance, malt body, aroma, everything is there. It's balanced. It's good. It's yes, I did have a dildo on it. It's tasty. It just needs more.
Rolled into it.
Just more carbonation would make me happy. Yes.
Not just a regular dildo. It was
a big fucking dildo.
Dildo gate. Yeah, that's what it reminds me. Yeah. No, I'm with him. I'll actually say, like, now granted you had carbonation problems because of the bottles or whatever. Like, yeah, I'll even say carbonation need to be up. Sweetness is not cloying by any means. Let's just touch on the sweet side. It's not bad. Definitely something I'd order somewhere.
I think that's appropriate for the beers that have like the big citrusy, berry, fruity notes and shit like that. Like I think that sweetness needs to be there to balance sort of those flavors. Like absolutely. I don't think that would taste very good dry. So
Brandon brews good beer, and he's always. I feel like he's always brewing with like New Zealand or Australian hops. Like this is his thing. Like he's out of all the guys in the club. Like I love Nelson. It's one of my favorite hops, but I think Brandon's like the only one that regularly brews with the damn thing. And this is in that same vein. And yeah, you brew good beer with that shit. I like it.
Yeah, and he's saying it might have it planned to be about 10-15.
Okay.
I would say might be a few points higher than that, but
it's hard to say something.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say just off of taste.
All right.
Jeff beer.
Triple double.
Oh yeah. So what is triple double? Is that a triple double clone? Oh, isn't that a
It's double triple.
double triple?
Double triple.
I can't remember what he told me because I'm the fucking.
Hold on, let me look at the phone, Jeff. If you texted it to me, I apologize for asking, but let me. So I was gonna run through and do
a nice little label on it.
Yeah. Wait, I said I have it. It's a triple I made. What's the triple cap? He says triple I made in March. He gave me the recipe. Jeff, yell at me if I'm wrong here, but this looks like Pilsner, Victory, and aromatic. And then the hops on it are going to be Pearl, Sterling, and Stristle Spalt. Workhorse Imperial yeast. So we're looking at 9%. Final gravity was 10-11.
Yeah.
All right, and pour it.
I'm gonna. So it is a Belgian triple for sure, right? Is that right? Am I muted?
No, you're right. You're right. I did a quick thing. I was trying to look up how to pronounce the name on there. I want to say it's called Brews in Belgium, but I'm not 100% sure
What's
on that.
Brews?
It's a city in Belgium.
Oh,
Brews Brasserie. No, so he sent me like a Beersmith screenshot of it, but I can't see the name of it. I've just got the recipe. I mean, German hops. I don't know what workhorse yeast is. I'm not familiar with that imperial yeast. Let me look it up real quick. That'll kind of give us a heads up if it was. I think it's a Belgian style.
So all the aroma blew off. I will say when I first opened the bottle, it had a kind of sulfur smell to it. I don't smell it anymore, but I got it out of the bottle when I first opened it when I was pouring it.
It is their Belgian. It's their clean Belgian strain. So.
That mic man picks up everything.
As soon as you said that though, I cracked the bottle and I get what you mean.
It kind of I love you, Jeff, but it kind of smelled like a fart for a second. It doesn't anymore. Nose is all the way in the glass, and I don't get that at all. So I'm wondering if it was just a bunch of like re-fermentation in the bottle or something.
I want to say I didn't get anything out of the bottle on me, but then again, I opened it not right underneath my nose. So
I did right under the nose. I smelled it, but in the glass, I get like apples.
Yeah, I get that too.
Not green apples. I'm talking like red, ripe apples.
It's got that like Belgian-y sweet smell to it.
Yep.
The taste is excellent. It's a little spicy and a little alcoholic. Again, I would want it more bubbly.
Just send Brian seltzer. That's
especially for a triple. I think triples are supposed to be like, pretty effervescent, right, or whatever. Like,
yeah, I think so. I mean, this is, in all honesty, I think outside of maybe
that's a great pour. I like your
Bill's.
I always love the head on your beers, like when you pour it into that thing. It looks great.
There was some sediment in the bottle, and I over poured, and I got cloudy.
Outside of the Pilsner, I think this is like the most carbonated we've had.
Yeah, I just get that ripe apple farmyard. not like shit, like orchard.
Are you sure? You've been getting a lot of that.
Absolutely. That would be fucking amazing.
A little spice and a little alcoholic things I want on my tombstone. Yeah, thank you, Caleb.
And then at the bottom, like, wear a fucking mask. Like, oh.
Yeah. It does have that. It's like fresh apple.
It's got spice and a weird bubblegum kind of. I get like Bazooka Joe with.
I do get the bubblegum. Like,
yeah, I do. I'm getting this like Bazooka Joe with bubblegum or with clove. Like
I can get that.
It reminds me of if you take a stick of clove gum and a chunk of Bazooka Joe and chew it
is
together.
clove gum a thing?
Yeah.
It's got to be, right?
You haven't had that? I'll find some for you. In fact,
no, that sounds awful.
No, it is.
Delicious.
It's horribly disgusting. So in Kalamazoo, you can find it at Rocket Fizz, but fuck that. Matawan Candy Company. So for those that are Kalamazoo hot sauce enthusiasts, one of our there's a burp for Brian. One of our Kalamazoo hot sauce enthusiast members, Joe Caparthy, and I probably just fucked his name up. Anyway, he owns Matawan Candy Company. I'm almost positive I can go down there and find clove gum. Check them out on Facebook, Matawan Candy Company. If you're within 8 miles of Matawan, they deliver orders of $10.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
And it's a cool little candy shop in Matawan. Joe makes some amazing hot sauce, my wife's favorite hot sauce. So I'm gonna give him a shout out. I know he's not watching.
That reminds me, when I was in this is completely off topic, just a little bit of clove. When I was in the Netherlands, my wife's family has they still have people over there. So we were going around and they gave us this little candy that's apparently like very Dutch. Like it was basically like black licorice and clove, like together.
Sounds horrible.
It was, and salty. It was like salty, clovey black licorice. It was very, very interesting. I have them on Facebook, so I'm sorry if they see that. I enjoyed it, but it was very unique.
Yeah. There's some old gums from like the earlier in the 1900s. I think there's like 3 varieties. There's like Beeman's, there's clove, and then one called Blackjack. And these are gums, like packs of stick gum, and it's clove. Blackjack is black licorice.
Yes, I mean family, Jason. Jesus, did I not say family?
People. But anyway, there's a clove gum that's fucking horrible. There's also a violet candy. Have you ever seen that?
What's violet?
It tastes like soap. It just tastes like soap. Like suck a fucking bar of soap.
Gross.
It's people like, I don't want to knock it because I hope to have some of these people on, but there have been people that have done violet beers, and it's the same way. It's like lavender. Sorry, lavender violet. I'll have
the flower.
Yeah.
It just tastes like fucking soap.
Tastes like flowery purple. That's I've had lavender, off topic again. I'm terrible at keeping on topic, but I've had lavender cider before, and that was actually pretty good.
I'm building my home bar. Well, I've got the home bar done, but I'm like buying all of the liquors and stuff, and I watch all these how to drink and educated barfly or whatever, all these cocktail episodes, and I've seen a lot of them using this special liquor called Violet, and it's literally like violet lavender whatever fucking schnapps or whatever. I don't know. Is
that what you're talking about? Parma violets.
And I see all these recipes. They make the drinks this cool color purple, which my wife really likes, and I'd be like, I'd love to make a purple drinks like that, but I just worry that they're going to taste like soap.
You're not drinking them though. She is.
True.
Well, there's those what, pea blossom petals or whatever that turn everything like a violet.
Yes, pea blossom. You can actually get that in like small concentrate bottles now. I saw it on a YouTube channel the other day, where you can get like this pea blossom extract that you can. So David Jones, the asshole who's commenting, I mean the good friend of ours that's commenting, he made a pea blossom beer that was amazing. Like you'd look at it in one angle, it was purple, and one angle it was like red, blue, and yeah. Where was I going? Cheers.
Yeah. Here we are
Chug on
drinking
your 9% beer.
I was gonna say, yeah. What? Starting off on a 10% beer.
Yes, this. I don't want to say that.
What is that?
I think that's
that
scientific.
Clitoria ternite? Is that how you would say that?
Clitoris turnti.
But I actually think that's the name of the flower, right, David? Tell me you're being scientifically correct. Shit, Jeff. It's a double. It's fruity. It's funky.
If you're listening, Jeff, too, what did you mean by it came out thick? Because he said that at one point in time in one of his comments. And is it just like a
liquid?
I heard that.
Liquid
Yeah,
two C's.
Yeah. Basically, there's a belt that came out thick. Yeah, I could kind of see that. It's got a little heavier on the mouthfeel.
It's got a lot of body, for sure.
But I wonder if like more carbonation wouldn't help that too.
Again,
No problem.
Yeah, just send Brian Seltzer. That's
I've got a Perion downstairs that I serve at like 30 psi. I think.
I just made one of those. Well, it's not.
Dude,
It's close, but
you don't even serve like nitros at fucking 30 psi.
I serve my nitros at 45 and beer gas. Yeah.
It is malty. It's malty. It's got a good heavy body.
Okay.
I'm not super familiar with the. I'm not a big Belgian fan, so I don't drink a lot of them. I don't know why. Like this is fine. I just when I'm looking at like doubles and stuff like that, I tend to pass over them.
I love doubles and triples. I love the whole Belgian line. So I like this. It's not quite like a classic triple. I guess that's why they call it a double triple. There's a burp
for Brian. The burp taste delicious. No, I didn't for you.
No, I appreciate you.
Great.
One of my first homebrews was a triple, and I think that's the last Belgian I brewed. Now because I didn't enjoy the beer, I really like triples. It's just I don't know. I really don't know, but this makes me want to maybe brew one for the winter now.
I think this is great.
It's warming while being like bright and alcoholic. Like it's like a like Belgian Golden Strong, you know, in that it's like strong but still kind of, you know, not too sweet or roasty or anything like that. It's just like it's still drinkable while being really high ABV.
Yep. I used to brew triples all the time.
Triples and heffies.
Yep, triples and heffies. That was pretty much had one on rotation all year for like 4 or 5 years. And I haven't brewed either one of them in probably 2 years now. But yeah.
That's funny. Yep. So Jeff left me some beer a week or so ago, and I was trying to try it and go through and give him some good feedback on it. And on that, Jeff, I know I gave you some feedback on one, and then I got drunk and I kind of fucking stopped texting you. So I wish I'm trying to get educated more on this one because I think it's fine. I think it's probably right for style. I mean, like if we're gonna finish and go over the, you know, I think aroma was beautiful. You know, the apple orchard, you know, kind of farm smells that I got off of it were great. The body is really good. The spiciness is really unique and interesting. I don't mind the carbonation level.
All of my initial impressions are like gone. Like all the aromas that I smelled and everything like that. It's all replaced with stuff that's like delicious, example of a triple. So I don't know what that was all about.
So looking this up, doubles are supposed to be kind of dark and
Yep.
brown and malty, and triples are supposed to be that pale gold.
Yeah, it's definitely got
So
the
this
look
is
of a
more of
triple.
Who said double?
It's on the.
Well, the name of it's double triple.
Well,
So is it whatever?
I guess
so
maybe
the
that's the question
triple-
for him. Why is it called double triple?
So the
there's
triple
triple double
seems to be-
yeast.
this triple seems to be higher, like 9%. The range on it's supposed to only top out at like in the 7.5 range. It's hazy is acceptable. The sweetness, it's saying low sweetness from a pale golden malt. There shouldn't be any noticeable, perceptible hop flavors or sweetnesses. So I'm getting sweetness. I'm not getting any hops.
Yeah, no hops, but yeah, it's definitely pretty sweet.
Yes, David. Yes.
More carbonation, more attenuation.
So it does say the head should be dense and mousse-like. Brewing sugar may be used to lighten the body. Hop malt character should be balanced, and the overall beer flavor may finish sweet, though any sweet finish should be light. So
I think there's maybe just like a slight head problem just because of the carbonation, but
right.
Yeah, that might be. I mean, I could. Then again, maybe it's the
you have
horn.
your special horn.
It's
yeah.
the magic horn.
It is magic, man.
Like,
even the lacing on that thing makes it look like I don't get anything like that on my glass. And I
No.
washed this thing before I started the show tonight.
No, I'm getting, but just great fruity esters from the Belgian styles.
Yep.
But, I think I get more apple on the nose, but maybe I am getting some banana, clove, warming.
you definitely get a lot of banana and clove on the finish.
Yeah. It's tasty. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, good
Thank
final
you.
impressions. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So we're just over an hour here. I don't know if we need to open another one.
Sounds like we do.
Okay.
I'm fucking with you.
No, Brandon wanted to taste the fucking porter. Let's fuck the rest of my night and drink the porter.
I'm working from home tomorrow, so I'm good.
That's right, Brian. I'm going to need you to go in the office.
I think that means you have to work at his place, right? Isn't that?
Not after making him open this. I can't imagine he's gonna have a pleasant morning.
No, this is one I might open up a little later. I told my wife I would share it with her.
The berry?
Yeah, the blackberry porter. Yeah, anything with fruit she's into. So,
Don't
and I know
open it,
Brandon
yeah,
makes
basically.
good beer.
What's that? Oh yeah, I said let's just not open it then. We can be okay.
We can.
Well then, what are you gonna taste?
I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish this off first. I'll taste it. Absolutely. I just want to let my wife know that I'm gonna open it.
Brandon says rip it apart. So all right,
let's do it.
Jason, if you don't want to finish it, get Murray up here.
Does your cat drink
drunk
beer?
cat?
Yeah, I've got my door shut, so he can't come in here.
You have to keep your cat away from your beer.
No, he just gets very like when the show starts. He's like, "Play fetch with me. Let's go." That said, I've drank a lot of beer, and I'm gonna pull one of these. So when we have guests on and stuff, we always talk about like if one of us disappears, don't say anything, because we're really going to pee. So that segment.
I'll hold the fort down with the porter. I try to keep water on hand to at least clean my glass. I'm really bad about drinking.
That's actually a good idea. Although I did bring water, but it is pamplemousse sparkling water.
While Jason's gone, we can
Grapefruit.
analyze the my tap water.
The
It's a little
leftovers.
yellow. I blame that on the triple. Yeah.
Oh, how do you? I guess
Tastes
since we're talking about water, how do you mineralize your carbonated water?
So, I basically somewhere online in the depths of the internet is a whole spreadsheet that somebody put together that mimics different regions, or no, not even different regions, different like companies, like waters, and maybe regions too. And so when I make my just sparkling water, I basically just like find one like, you know, what's a really popular one is Perrier
Perrier. Yep.
Yeah. It's like, okay, some of this and some of that, and swirl it up and put it on tap and hope for the best. For hard seltzer, I don't have the experience there. I made a whole fucking Facebook post about it on Keepers the other day, and
You did?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
well, not post, a comment thread, I guess. It was you commented on that. It was who made that hard seltzer?
Evan.
Evan, yeah. And he said it went good. He drank it all, or him and his family, or whoever. But yeah. Fuck.
I have finished this double. Triple.
Double, triple. You were wrong.
Trouble. Triple,
That's
double, trouble. That's exactly what that beer tastes like.
Trouble.
Because it goes down too easy, and it's 9%.
It does. It's very easy drinking. So I would say good job, Jeff.
I feel like
beer.
I like beer.
I like beer.
I like beer. I feel like our probably our reviews went way down. Jeff, I'm sorry. I feel like
that may have been. Oh, that's a tough one to call. Do we start with a higher ABV and then move down afterwards, or do we start low and then keep going as? When you got 8 beers on deck, like
I have just happened to have. This is like I don't even remember what like the lumens on this thing is. It's a through night TC12 flashlight. Like it'll basically shine out like half a mile, I swear. So I want to see if I turn this up to full blast, if this beer has any like purple to it or anything like that.
That's quite dark.
So I want to ask Brandon, since you're watching.
It's not going to go through. That's a thick boy.
Brandon, why do you call this a porter, not a stout? Because we've already done this before. There's no fucking difference. So you're wrong, whatever you say. But,
if you look at it through the light, it has a very like light brown sort of look to it. It's not actually jet black. It's a thick boy, though.
It is a thick boy. I'm calling it a blackberry stout. I do.
Do you get any berry or fruit on the nose? I get
A
like
little
chocolate coffee and
no, like a little bit. Do a drive by. I think you might be
okay.
Going too deep. You get a little bit berry. I do get a lot of chocolate, dark, thick, heavy.
It smells like it smells like stouty.
Definitely a stout. This porter bullshit. Hey, what yeast, Brandon? Was it
Debiller black malts, 7%. Finished at 10-16. All right.
It's roasty.
It is.
I would definitely call that more of a stout than a porter. Not that again.
Why though? Why?
I was just gonna say, like we've already said, there's no difference.
I don't think that the berry taste lingers. That's really nice. I don't find that I ever taste roast in porters. I usually taste more chocolate and coffee. It's not always a thing, but like in stouts, I find that I want more body and maybe more roast. And so that's how that's my head canon, style guidelines. Drew
I'm
Tipper
trying to.
wants us to pound it.
Yeah. Drew can suck a horse peanut. What was I going to say?
What's the ABV? 7%. That it doesn't taste like 7% at all. I think that. Hold on. So here's how I describe the beer. I describe it as very balanced in all aspects as far as like malt, hops, and fruit goes. But I actually don't think I would prefer it that way in the future. Like, I would want it to be very fruit forward with lingering like chocolatiness or something like that. And maybe like a little bit more sweet or something. The carbonation for once for me, I don't think is over or under anything like that. I think it's perfect. Surprise!
Congrats, Brandon.
Holy shit!
You satisfied Brian.
But yeah, for again, that's
with
like
carbonation. Well,
no. So again, that's what I would want out of this beer. That's just what I was hoping for going into it. For what Brandon says he wanted, a dark blackberry beer, but like I could see this being. I could see it being like a blackberry Schwartz beer or something like that, and being like awesome. Like it's very close to that almost.
Oh yeah,
I don't have hops. I think.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't have told us it was a blackberry beer, I don't think I would have picked up on blackberry. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm forcing blackberry into it. I don't know what extract you used or what you used to flavor it. You're saying flavoring. I do a raspberry stout, and I put a lot of fucking raspberries in it, and raspberry is super perceptible. So maybe I give you one of those, Brandon. You can try it and see. It's shit right now because it's a little old, but I don't get enough of the fruit. So I think if you're calling it a fruited stout, you need to quadruple the fruit.
I think that might be true. I think blackberry is a little deeper of a flavor than raspberry, and that might be blending with the black malts a bit more. I mean, I'd definitely pick out that there's some sort of fruit in here, but yeah, I think the level of dark malts mixing with those deep blackberry flavors might be kind of either competing or covering each other up a little bit.
And that's why I almost think like the dark malts have a good balance there. And the darkness, like the dark malts can give that chocolatey flavor and can give that, I think, almost fruity characteristic, especially depending on your final gravity and the latent sweetness there. I think that you can get some of that sweetness. And so I think that might be where it's coming from. So you use 3 pounds of blackberry and amaretti blackberry flavoring. And the amaretti flavoring is awesome stuff.
I was gonna say, like, actually, if I were to try this, I might just actually skip adding the regular blackberries and maybe up the flavoring a bit more.
So normally when I do a raspberry stout, I do 10 pounds of raspberries.
Oh, you do? Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good. So maybe go the opposite. Don't listen to me. Listen to this guy.
Well, no, it's and so since then, since the last time I brewed the raspberry stout, I've started playing with the like the Lorraine. We talked about it on the homebrew meeting last night, the Lorraine oils,
Yep.
And I actually have blackberry Lorraine oil. Brandon, if you want to try, I fucking bought a 4-ounce bottle, buddy, so I've got enough to 100 pounds of beer. So if you want to try that, I'll give you a couple milliliters of it. But it's just going for a stout or a porter. Sorry, it's fine. It's fucking fine, dude. You're a clean brewer. It's really good.
Not getting any off flavors.
I'm actually tempted to go down and get like the blackberry oil and like put like a drop in it, but the drop would be way too much for a glass. So wouldn't do that.
You can do what they you can do what some people do with you. Have you heard the whole like olive oil versus like oxygenation and like your wort and stuff like that, like discussion? That's a topic for another episode or something.
Yeah.
But take a toothpick, dip it in the oil, and dip it in the beer. Yeah.
You know, so I've heard that, right? A toothpick of olive oil in your beer will.
Are we getting into this?
Well, we are.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
I think it's fucking stupid.
This is fucking it.
That's all. So if you think a toothpick of fucking olive oil is going to clear whatever accidental oxidation you might do to your beer,
it's a different thing. It's not to clear the oxidation. It's as a replacement for oxygen before your beer ferments. Was the discussion? You might be thinking of potassium sorbate.
No, I maybe I just read it wrong.
Okay.
I think I probably read the headline of it and went, "Those guys are fucking idiots," and I moved on. As I thought that they were referring to like putting it in and it'll absorb like those that oxygen flavor.
Yeah,
but you're talking about like are you talking about then like from a nutrient standpoint, like it's going to help the yeast?
Fatty amino acids, I think, or something like that. It basically just like an oxygen replacement. So I think it was New Belgium put out the paper years ago, and they used it as an oxygen replacement when they were propagating their yeast. And then homebrewers read it and they were like, "Fuck, we don't have to oxygenate our beer anymore. We'll just take a toothpick and fucking stick that in our beer." And people still do it to this day and swear by it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Some people say, "Oh no, it has no issues with my head retention," and some claim that their head retention does go to shit, but their beer tastes better. And it's all fucking anecdotal bullshit. Do whatever you need to do to make your beer taste good, and yeah, it's whatever. It really might be a thing, and I really do think that it can be helpful for yeast health if you're pouring out the supernatant and shit and just pitching the yeast. So that's whatever.
I'm drunk enough to not give a shit right now.
Yeah. So hey, we went there.
I
now we're
really did. I read it at least right now. I really did. All I'm remembering is something about it can like remove the adverse effects of oxygenation or whatever. And I don't know. Whatever. Brandon, it's good. It's a fine fucking porter.
It's a fine fucking beer, man.
Yeah, it's good. I will say my wife just came down and picked some up. She tried it and she enjoyed it. So good job. And she, after having a kid, has been moving further and further away from beer. So good job on you. She liked it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's tasty. Carbonation is good. The body is good. The malt balance, hop characteristic is good. I just don't get enough blackberry. Like if it's a fruit stout, I want more fruit.
I could totally agree with that. I could even go with more body too. More body and more fruit, and like I totally get the fruit. It's there. Like it lingers for me. I can't really smell it as much as I can taste it. It's not.
I couldn't say that I would be able to pick out blackberry specifically, but I could tell that there was fruit there for sure.
Yeah.
Time to break out the seltzers. How do you guys feel about that?
Oh yeah, if I had them right now, I'd be slamming them.
I've got one that's finishing fermenting right now. In fact, later tonight, probably going to be taking a grav reading on it, see if that's finished up, or if at least it's started fermentation again. But otherwise, I'll be doing another nutrient addition.
I'm really excited about Omega's nutrient package.
Yes,
I'm super lazy, and I just think that's awesome.
I didn't get to say it while the guy was saying, but like proper starters in itself, like especially now that I don't like have as much time as I used to. And I didn't make starters as much beforehand, but like a large part of it was using the kitchen to make some wort and whatnot. But having a proper starter available, like doing that, is just going to make things a lot easier. And then having that proper seltzer nutrient addition that will be coming out relatively soon will be an awesome Like I will buy a few packs of that off the bat for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, any parting words? Gents, it's been an hour and a half.
I
Going
can't
over
believe this
Spare
show went on
Welcome.
for an hour and a half. So thank you all for sticking around with us, just as we fucking drink 4 beers and talk about them for fucking.
And it was 5. But sure, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
I agree.
We're working on one.
So we will be back next Monday. We may have a guest, we may not. I will figure that out this week.
That's kind of how this week came about. Yeah, we have a couple of guests lined up. We just need to work out time slots. So
yeah, and with the holidays coming up, it's getting a little crazy. So we are going to be here at least every Monday through the end of the month. It's just maybe it may be this again. It may be us. It may be a guest. It may be fucking repeat from somebody that we can pull in last minute. But we're going to keep doing this because we're having a blast.
Absolutely.
So, outro?
You gonna try this? Are we gonna not talk during the outro this time?
Yeah.
We have an even a better intro and maybe even an outro coming soon too. So
yeah, we've got. Oh, we should do that. Like, is it Ripjaw Media?
Ripjaw Media.
Yeah, Ripjaw Media.
Ripjaw Media is going to help us and fix us so that it's not embarrassing and that you don't have the overly loud intro music with the black screen that just leads to a cool logo, and the outro music or the outro with no music where you can actually hear us talking shit after I hit the button. So hopefully near the end of the month, we're going to hook up with Ripjaw Media and film some shit and get a cool intro and outro and a neat segment for when Brian goes all science on you guys. I can fucking throw it up.
So I'm saying we need to have a soundboard at some point. I'll pick one of those out so that way I'll run the soundboard.
Yeah.
But that said, cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you again for sticking around with us. Thank you for all the beer, for everyone else that gave us beer, and we'll do more of this in the future. Have a good night.
Good night.